Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
Oh, made it hard. Oh, he stared at Wesley Johnson, and then he hit the three.
He does things that's ridiculous. I had to make him dance a little bit and make the shot.
This is not a petty crime. This is a massive scandal of cheating.
And this is a career-ending thing for Sean Miller.
He could have his $8 million. That's great. But if you're in jail, what good is $8 million?
I'm honestly feeling heartbroken. It's one of the saddest places that I've ever been.
U.S. skier Gus Kenworthy adopting his puppy from Pyeongchang. 90 dogs going to be sent to U.S. and Canada to find forever homes.
I just wanted to use the experience to try and raise awareness.
What you see may change your perception of any sporting event. Get this, shoot this.
Welcome to Outside the Lines. I'm Kate Fagan, sitting in for Bob Lee. A special meeting of the Board of Regents at the University of Arizona is scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern today. And that is today's big story. On the docket is discussion about the contract of men's basketball coach Sean Miller, who has not been on the bench since last Friday, when ESPN reported that Miller can be heard on wiretaps discussing a $100,000 payment for freshman star DeAndre Ayton. The meeting is not open to the public, and a school spokesperson said the board is gathering information, and any action on Miller's status as coach would come at a later meeting. Miller has said that once all the information comes out, he is confident he will be vindicated. The 49-year-old makes $2.6 million a year through 2022. And we are now joined by ESPN staff writer Myron Metcalf, who will be covering tonight's Stanford-Arizona game. All right, Myron, just catch everybody up here on the Arizona Miller wiretapping and what the state is right now.
Well, you had the ESPN report on Friday about an alleged conversation between Sean Miller and Christian Dawkins, who's in the middle of this FBI probe regarding a $100,000 payment to DeAndre Ayton. Sean Miller didn't coach Friday against Oregon, put out a statement that he would be vindicated. And it's been quiet for the most part up until this Board of Regents announcement about today's meeting. It's clear that there are certainly some influential people on Arizona's side who have questioned the report and who have openly and publicly backed Sean Miller. So this thing could go either way, but clearly today's meeting is about looking at, I think, their options and some of the legal issues surrounding Sean Miller's contract. If he were to be fired with cause, he'd be due about $5 million. It's unclear due to the vague language in the contract what he would be owed if he were fired with cause. But this is still sort of an open-ended deal. We're not exactly sure what will happen from here with Sean Miller.
Now, you're obviously on the ground there in Tucson, home of the Wildcats. What are you feeling like the energy and being in Arizona? What is the energy and what is the vibe like about the future of this basketball program and their coach specifically?
There's a lot of concern by a lot of fans. One fan asked me on a scale of 1 to SMU and the death penalty, where do they stand? I mean, so there's a lot of concern. But make no mistake, there are a lot of people who have come out in support of Sean Miller, and, you know, they have said, look, we stand behind this guy, and we're going to do some more fact gathering. President Robbins of this university said he's concerned with the facts, and, you know, this is a situation where Arizona is really taking its time to make its decision. But I think certainly there's a lot of concern on this campus about what's going to happen just a week and a half before the start of the NCAA tournament surrounding a team that could make a run if they have all their pieces.
Now, what are you hearing about how coaches around the NCAA are responding to this news about Sean Miller and what it might mean for their game?
Well, I think there are a lot of people who are waiting to see sort of the next move here. He has a lot of support in the coaching fraternity. He has a lot of support here on this campus, but certainly if the report is accurate and if he is in fact involved in setting up some sort of payment, I think obviously that would be problematic, not just for Sean Miller, but for the entire game. But there's a next step here coming, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out in the next couple of days and maybe weeks.
All right. Thanks, Myron. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, last week, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver fined Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban $600,000 for admitting on a podcast that he told his team, quote, "Look, losing is our best option." Silver then sent a memo telling teams the following, quote, "If we ever received evidence that players or coaches were attempting to lose or otherwise taking steps to cause any game to result otherwise than on its competitive merits, that conduct would be met with the swiftest and harshest response possible from the league office." Now, tanking and tanking blowback is just the beginning of what's up right now in the NBA. Last night, the Houston Rockets won their 14th consecutive game with guard James Harden delivering perhaps the most effective crossover of the season/decade. I'm sure you all have seen it. Here it is right here. Now he pauses with the three. Tonight, the Cavaliers play the Sixers. Particularly interesting, of course, because of the recent billboards purchased by Philly fans attempting to woo LeBron to sign with their team this offseason. Now here to give us the NBA intricacies is league reporter Chris Haynes. All right, Chris, what is the response around the league from the fine and then the Silver memo?
Well, I've talked to multiple league executives, in this league, and essentially what they gather from that memo is that if you're going to tank, keep it to yourself. This has been something that has been ongoing with the league for years. And I think it's just become a problem because there's been so much backlash. And obviously the Philadelphia 76ers had just took it to another level over the last couple of years. And so I think what right now Adam Silver is doing his part to make sure the integrity of the league is not challenged and making sure owners, management, make sure they keep their comments to themselves. They're going to do something like this. It's really going to be hard and difficult to prevent these teams from doing so until they implement new rules that would hinder teams from going that route to get themselves in better position in the lottery.
I mean, you mentioned implementing those new rules and that it will be tough to actually slow tanking. But what do you think the next step is for Adam Silver to make sure that he eliminates tanking from his league?
Well, I really do think they have to put it in a new system where it doesn't reward losing teams that's at the bottom of the league to where they can get, higher draft positions. There's been multiple options thrown out there. Nobody's really sure of how to really resolve this issue. And so I think that's why Adam Silver is trying to make sure he does his best to inform, but not inform, reiterate that tanking talk will not be tolerated by him because he really doesn't want to go that route. He's done a lot of things where you talk about changing the All-Star, moving the season, beginning the season earlier, things of that nature. That's a situation he really does not want to touch. So I think he feels like this is his best way of reaching out and showing that you will be fined heavily if you come out and come out with a narrative or talks along those lines of tanking.
Right. So Rockets won their 14th straight last night. How surprised are the rest of the teams in the league about the Rockets' performance so far this year?
Look, I think everybody's pretty much surprised. Look, me, myself included, I didn't know if the James Harden, Chris Paul pairing would work. Those are two ball-dominant players, but they've coexisted well. And then they're better defensively. They got much more versatile players on that roster who can switch things. And that's similar to the Golden State Warriors, a team who the Rockets have, said all year long that they were out there trying to get. And then James Harden recently said he believes this is their year. So this definitely is a different team. It's just we don't know if they're better than the Golden State Warriors as of right now, but we shall see.
All right, Chris, we got a couple seconds here. What do you think about the billboards and the game tonight with Cavaliers and Sixers? What's the effect of that?
Well, look, I think they're obviously going to do what they can. Dre, you want to say hello?
What's up, good people?
All right, we'll leave it at that, Chris. Well, I mean, you really can't top that right there.
Okay, that's
fine. All right, Chris Haynes, and that was Draymond Green, it appears. All right, man. Thanks.
Yes, it was. The one and only. Take care.
Former Chicago Bears safety Dave Duerson died by suicide in 2011 at the age of 50. He asked for his brain to be used for CTE research. Now, in January, Illinois State Representative Carol Senti introduced a piece of legislation that would ban tackling in youth football for children under age 12, the Dave Duerson Act. And today at the Illinois State Capitol, the bill is being considered by the state's Mental Health Committee. Former NFL player Chris Borland, who retired at age 24 due to concerns over head injuries, demonstrated repetitive hits to the head to the committee. Dave Duerson's son, Treg, a former Notre Dame player, also spoke.
He went from a Harvard-educated, successful businessman to a shadow of himself, an individual that struggled with bankruptcy, urges of physical assault, and also depression. In a note that he left to us in 2011 also detailed some of their struggles with CTE, and he mentioned issues with blurred vision, memory loss, and an inability to control his own temperament. This bill honors my family's hope and my father's legacy to protect future athletes and the future of football.
All right, joining us now from the Illinois State Capitol is ESPN reporter Michelle Steele. Now, Michelle, the vote has come down and it passed through 11-9. Sounds like it was really tight. Can you describe the varying statements made today?
Yeah. You know what? It was a very dramatic scene here as Illinois takes a very important step to becoming perhaps the first state in the nation to ban tackle